Hey guys, welcome to another Tartan Tuesdays. Okay, so this is my second one, and I was gonna do basically a classic in the genre. I mean, people who are really into Asian horror, you know as well as I do that if you want to be into Asian horror, then you should have seen things like Battle Royale by now, probably at least one of the Whispering Corridors, and I will be doing reviews on all of those eventually. But today we have the classic Oldboy. Now, this is just one of those little gems, kind of like Barra, that kind of filtered into the Western audiences. I mean, there are a lot of people that even I know who don't have a fucking clue what Asian horror is, who know what this movie is. So that's just awesome. I love that. Yeah, Oldboy centres on one of the most amazing concepts I've ever seen, and it centres on a guy called Odissu. Now, at the very beginning of the movie, we see him being very drunk and disorderly and in a police station, and then he calls his daughter from a payphone and suddenly vanishes. Someone kidnaps him. The rest of the movie, or at least the beginning part of the movie, to set up for the rest of the movie, he's been imprisoned in a room, and he tattoos each year on his hands, so we get to see it through a montage that he's been in there for 15 years. We see him in there trying to teach himself martial arts, watching a lot of TV, semi-hallucinating at times. Every night he goes to bed, he doesn't just go to sleep, they gas him, and then they do what they need to do, like washing his bed sheets and replacing his food, cutting his hair, etc, etc. He eventually gives up trying to get out, and he just sort of succumbs to the fact that he is stuck in this one room. Then he's released and set out into the real world again with a phone and a wallet full of money. He, at first, he's very bewildered because he has no idea how he's managed to wake up, not in his room anymore. Now, the plot of the movie is that he's contacted by someone and he's told that he has 5 days to figure out why he was imprisoned, or they're going to kill this girl that he meets shortly after. Now, I honestly can't sing this film's praises enough. Oh my god, I hope they never remake it. I really, really hope they don't remake it. It doesn't need to be remade. It translates very well. I would hate it if they tried to Hollywoodize this thing. It's just not good. But yeah, he very quickly meets a young girl called Mido at a restaurant, and she is so intrigued by him and his story and the fact that he passes out on her that she takes him back to her apartment, and she decides to help him try and figure out why he was imprisoned. As we go down the movie, he does eventually meet his kidnapper, but he still doesn't find out why until right at the very end. His kidnapper, I think his name is Woo Jin Lee. Yes, his name is Woo Jin Lee. He's a very wealthy man. He has set this up. He has a very good reason for wanting him imprisoned, and I will not give away the twist. But even when the twist is delivered, the reaction, the acting that they do to the reaction of the twist is so strong. Like, you can't help but sit there and sometimes shout at the screen. I mean, I've known people that have shouted at the screen. I actually screamed at the screen because I was so like happy at how well they did it. Yeah, it's basically sort of a mission. You know, he has a mission to find out why he was imprisoned. He has a romantic relationship eventually with this young woman. So he's kind of trying to integrate back into the world, but also dig deep into his past, because his past is where the secret lies. There's a few really awesome, like, sort of standout scenes in this. Probably one that I actually can't watch anymore is the one when he first meets Mido in the sushi restaurant and he eats a live octopus. This is not fake. This is very real. He gets it. It's going like this on the plate, and then he bites into it and he eats the fucking thing. It's so gross. It's so gross. Really good. I can't watch it anymore, but it's still like, the fact they put that in there is awesome because it shows how sort of feral he's become. There's only a couple of CGI bits in this. I mean, it came out in 2003. I think in Cannes it was released in 2004 though. It was released for the Cannes Film Festival in 2004. There's only a couple of CGI moments, like I say, like with the hallucination scenes at the beginning, and also the iconic scene of when he is fighting like 15 to 20 henchmen, and he beats the shit out of them, and he just one long pan through a tunnel. He's got like, I think he's got a hammer, and he takes them down. He gets hurt along the way, but he beats the shit out of these guys, and there's like 30 of them. It's such a wonderful scene. Pros of this movie, it's got one of the best concepts ever. It's got one of the best twists ever, and the best reactions at the end to said twist. Cons of this movie, I'm not really sure. I think in some places it fell flat, like especially Mido. She's a bit of a whiny bitch at times, and she gets on my nerves. Apart from that, she's alright. I don't really know if I have a favourite line from this, although I will warn you people, there is a sex scene in this, and I don't really know how to explain this, but if you've ever seen sex scenes in Japanese movies, they have a habit of being very blunt with what they say, and they explain what's going on in very intimate detail, and it kind of creeped me out and cringed me up a lot when that happens. So I will just warn you that yeah, it's a little bit graphic, but that's okay. It's Japanese, it's all good. Yeah, I think I'm gonna end it there. Tune in next week for another Tartan Asia Extreme, or Tartan video. Bye bye, Asian horror fans.